Honorable members, can we proceed? Secretary, can you read the 8th order of the day, please?
Tabling of vote number 5, Public Works and Infrastructure.
I'll call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure to present her policy speech in terms of Rule 202, Sub-Rule 3.
Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier and members of the Executive Council, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature and Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on the Public Works and Infrastructure, or Honorable Madiwane, members of the House of Traditional Leaders, executive mayors, speakers, chief whips and councillors, leadership of the governing party, Liberation War veterans, leaders of the opposition parties, Director General of the Eastern Cape Province, Head of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Manda, heads and senior management of various departments, our social partners and stakeholders, members of the media, distinguished and special guests, and those communities that are listening from the social infrastructure, that is the media, the Facebook, the televisions and all. Molweni, Dumelang, good day. Goeiedag. Honorable Chair, it is great honor to stand here before this august house today and present the and budget speech on behalf of the Eastern Cape Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. It gives me great joy and pride to stand on this podium representing Uhulumente African National Congress and also give an account to the people of the Eastern Cape on the work done by the provincial government. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure in particular, to improve their lives during the 6th term. The people of the Eastern Cape are looking at us, and that is why I will together give the account and also further make announcements about what we have in store for them in the next financial year. Madam Deputy Chair of Chairs, just a week ago, we conjoined with multitudes of South Africans in the commemoration of the Human Rights Day. On 21st March 1960, a group of vibrant men and women in Sharpeville took to the streets and confronted the vicious and brutal apartheid regime to protest against past laws. The trigger-happy and barbaric apartheid regime shot and killed scores of our people. It is against this background that our democratic government declared the 21st of March a Human Rights Day to commemorate the Sharpeville massacre and honor those who sacrificed their lives in the struggle for the attainment of democracy in our country. It is in the memory of those who sacrificed their lives and laid a solid foundation for democratic dispensation that we remain committed and dedicated in the execution of our mandate as the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. During this month, we joined many countries around the world in celebrating International Women's Day on this day. That was the 8th of March, women across the world are recognized for their achievement without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. We salute Mama Charlotte Maxeke, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Mama Lillian Ngoyi, Mama Florence Matomela, Mama Maggie Tsiukgesha, bomme kaofela ba ileng ba bonahala ba hlaeletse ka mahetla with the struggle to attain our democracy. I deliver this policy and budget speech today mindful of the prevailing global and domestic socio-economic conditions. It is an era of immense challenges. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic are still haunting us to date. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has exacerbated the global financial crisis, energy crisis, gender-based violence and femicide, climate change, which have devastating effects not only to our infrastructure, but also on general livelihoods of our people. These are amongst the challenges that the sixth administration has been faced with, but we remain positive about the reconstruction and recovery measures our government has put in place. In his State of the Nation address, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa has reassured us that, I quote, "We are at our most essential, a nation defined by hope and resilience. It was hope that sustained our struggle for freedom, and it is hope that swells our sails as we steer our country out of turbulent waters to calmer seas. Even in these trying times, it is hope that sustains us and fuels our determination to overcome even the greatest of difficulties," close quote. Honorable members, in the 2023-24 financial year, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has been allocated a sum of 2.5 billion to implement its mandate in line with the program structure. Honorable Chair, since the advent of the sixth administration, the budget was intended to support our transformation agenda that sought to reposition the department as a nerve center for infrastructure development, delivery, coordination, and investment. Madam Chair, this budget ushers a phase we have aptly called the maturity phase in our transformation agenda. This phase will project the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure deepening her capabilities as an implementing agent for client departments, playing a meaningful role supporting OTP in infrastructure coordination, and therefore see Eastern Cape reaping socio-economic investment. Sibui se hlomphehileng mme modulasetulo. The department has successfully implemented the newly revised organizational structure, which saw the public infrastructure program being elevated and split into 4 distinct functions, namely the Department of Education portfolio, the Department of Health portfolio, other client departments portfolio, and facilities and security management, all headed by chief directors. This will enable the department to effectively and efficiently play the agency role in implementing infrastructure projects on behalf of client departments. The organizational structure has also ensured the reconfiguration of the districts to ensure alignment with the current demarcation. It will enhance the department's capabilities to implement projects timely, efficiently, and within budget. We reaffirm the Honorable Premier's assertion that OTP, DPWI, and Provincial Treasury must work together to resolve poor capital grant expenditure and ensure that no monies are returned to the national fiscus. To this, Honorable Chair, the department has established the Transversal Infrastructure Coordinating Chief Directorate that will help ensure the implementation of sustainable infrastructure development system. A single point of entry for all public infrastructure projects, a single skills pipeline for all public infrastructure. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, I'm pleased to announce that 56% of senior management staff in the Eastern Cape Department of Public Works and Infrastructure are women. It must be noted that this is a vast improvement compared to the 38% in 2019-2020, 39% in 2020-2021, and 46% in 2021-2022. This is a historical milestone for the department and an achievement that ought to be celebrated by all of us. Malibongwe. Madam Deputy Chair of Chairs, the Republic of South Africa is faced with a major problem of unemployment, with 34.5% of young people who are not in employment, not in education, not in training, especially the young women and the youth living in rural provinces like this one of ours, the Eastern Cape. While jobs are not being created as quickly as desired, the problem of unemployment is exacerbated by lack of skills and formal work experience. To respond to this challenge, through the Professional Skills Development Program in 2022-23, the 85 candidates were placed, in which 27 were registered as professionals. Furthermore, 231 youth were placed in the developmental programs, graduate technical interns, graduate program interns, and work integrated learning. In the coming year, the department will continue with the youth developmental programs. As a result, listen carefully. 288 posts have been advertised as follows: 90 graduate interns, siyazifuna. 28 postgraduate technical interns, nazo siyazifuna. 100 work integrated learning, nazo sizijongile. 40 candidates to be placed and 30 in structured youth development programs, sizijongile. And the closing date for applications is the 3rd of April, 2023. That is a story of good progress. Madam Chair, the department has trained 1,250 learner artisans, of which 702 are women during this financial year, ensuring that they pass the trade test and at the end of their contracts to be fully fledged artisans. The department will continue to support developmental programs, including the National Youth Service and Artisans Program, Accelerated Professional and Trade Competency Development Programs, that is APCOT, at a value of 47 million rand. Again, this is a story of good progress. Madam Chair, it is fundamental to note that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Dr. Mxolisi Majombozi Bursary Fund, provides financial assistance in the form of registration, tuition fees, meals, study material, accommodation, and laptops. The department will award 40 bursaries in 2023-24 financial year. Once these bursary holders attain their qualifications as part of their contractual obligation, they are placed in the departmental professional development program as technical interns for a period of 2 years to
Sorry,
serve their bursary
Honorable
obligations.
MEC, you are left with 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Speaker, history would have this in the books, that since I became the executing authority of the Department of Public Works, the ruling party would call upon us to dedicate the month of October to fight against infrastructure vandalism, as we took to the regions carrying the word to the people, small businesses, business formations, and in the final analysis, we all agreed that we need to strengthen our provincial operation, bring back state properties. And in this financial year, 2023-24, we shall continue with that program, as well as the Operation Kusela, protecting state properties against vandalism, which whilst providing work opportunities through EPWP. In the period under review, we committed to change the property ownership patterns in line with our transformative agenda. In this regard, we had set a target of 60% black ownership in our lease portfolio. However, here today we can confidently report that 72% of the leases have been concluded with black landlords. This is a story of good progress. Somlomo obekekileyo ongu Deputy Chair of Chairs. As a coordinator of EPWP in the province, I am pleased to report that at the end of the Q3, the province created 97,629 work opportunities, thus positioning the Eastern Cape province at an achievement of 99.8%. against its target of 97,764. We have a good story that is there at Elundini local municipality in Jo'qabi, which is the best performing municipality, and we have a flagship program there that promotes the accountability and attractive and fashionable EPWP program. Zikhona ke igesi zami ezivele eJo'qabi zilapha ngaphakathi naziya. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is ready to take a lead in construction of socio-economic infrastructure needed by the people of this province through massive rollout of infrastructure projects to unlock investment opportunities and create sustainable jobs. The department has set aside 274,139,000 in line with our commitment to provide conducive office accommodation. We shall proceed with Emaxesibeni Office Precinct in Alfredo District, Mkanduli Office Complex, Makanda Training Center, and also look at other programs that need our renovations that will be given by our sister departments. It is worth mentioning that our relationship with client departments continues to improve as we provide specialized professional and technical services.
2 minutes left.
Amongst us, we have outstanding construction companies. Tata Usonwabile Richard Nombebe and Mama Lusanda Sihlahla. These are the construction companies that have completed their job that was set for 6 months, then they completed the job within 3 months. Akhbare voorsitter, we are also mindful of the need to conserve our precious water resources. And to this end, the department will explore ways of recycling grey water and also look at Bishop Precinct, as well as the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature Precinct, Net Department of Public Works as the head office. Sinomfana ke our former bursary holder, u-Olwethu, ulapha ngaphakathi kuthi Olwethu Mpepe, Nagya. Yena ukhuphe i-district yethu iKrisani uyikhuphe ukugqwayiba boba itaps zome zingabi namanzi weza necebo. Ngoku uphethe ukhokhele iteam ejonga ilegislature ukuba siyikhupha kanjani entweni yokuphelelwa ngamanzi nakumcimbi kacimicimi ngulamfana. Siyabulela kakhulu. In conclusion, Honorable Chair, the governing party has declared 2023 the year of decisive action to advance people's interests. Despite that, the challenges encountered by our government in the intervening period, our people still need solutions. Therefore, here is the budget that we are given, the 2.5 billion. I table the budget 2023-24 financial year budget, as well as the APPs and the performance plans. I thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs.
Thank you. The policy speech and all the tabled document stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161. The Department of Education to present his 2023-24 policy speech in terms of Rule 2023. Over to you, Honorable MEC for Education.
Deputy Chair of Chairs, allow me to say your established protocol is observed. Deputy Chair of Chairs, if there is any battle that we must fight as the people of the province and win it, is a battle that we must migrate the people of the province consciously from a victim's mentality to a hero's mentality. And that's the first hurdle that I believe we must engage extensively as the people of the province in an attempt to reposition the province itself in all facets of life, Chair of Chairs. Chair, we note as the Department of Education the increase on the budget of the sector of the department from 39,796 billion rands to 41,128 billion rands, an increase of 3.3%. At least the 1.5 million learners in the public schools are to benefit from the no-fee schools funding in terms of the National Norms of Standards policy. Furthermore, additional funding provides for the adequate resourcing for the quality of LTSM provision for all the learners, inclusive of school support programs, to ensure the access and equity. So in essence, Honorable Chair of Chairs, we are bringing back the national funding school norms gazetted target of 1.6 per learner per annum. You will remember that we were funding them sometime previous academic year at a rate of plus minus 999 rands per kid per annum. So that will then give a rise into the efficiency of the Section 21 schools in terms of law, but also in terms of ensuring that some of the decentralized functions as defined by Act, schools are able to execute them. Chair of Chairs, the department has reprioritized the budget allocation for 2023-2024 financial year to ensure the priorities given to learners and schools. Funding for schools will therefore be funded at an affordable rate per learner, wherein all learners will be funded as per the Gazette, as I have alluded into. Again, Chair, we aim to develop a support and resource the agricultural schools by ensuring that there is a skilling and capacitation of the school communities, learners and educators, key to ensure that over time there is an appropriate funding and provisioning of the necessary resources, both physical and human, and as well appropriate infrastructure to effective learning and teaching as our core strategic mandate. Chair of Chairs, we ought to establish and resource agricultural schools, and they remain a key policy imperative for the department, as also in terms of the provincial development plan as outlined by the provincial government. The Eastern Cape is one of the poorest provinces in the country, consisting mainly of rural areas. As a contribution towards food security and farming skills, the department, through agricultural schools, commit to continue to improve the resourcing of the existing agricultural schools towards maintaining requisiting minimum enterprises that distinguishes this category of forecast of schools. Our argument here, Chair of Chairs, is that probably we need to move away from the maximization of minimums and the minimization of maximums. We must be able to have a clarity of purpose. What exactly must be done by this sector? And how does this sector relate into the plight of the people walking around the streets? It must not just be an academic certification, but how does it respond into the problems that are confronted by people on the ground? Chair and honorable members, we are a system on the rise. Through it, it is important for us to also agree that making progress in the basic education sector requires a continual focus on our long-term policy aims and objectives, while we also deal with the challenges and issues as they arise. For example, in the last 15 years, we have increased the number of learners passing the National Senior Certificate from 50% in 2008 to 77% in 2022, 77.3. During the same period, we have more than doubled the percentage of learners who become eligible to pursue their studies at the universities, about 14.5 to 36.8%. Now, what then it means, Chair? Basic education must be able to trace learners. We must be able to say, our production, does it receive the demand and supply from the mainstream in the economy in the country or not? And hence we are bringing this discussion of the upward trajectory in terms of the learners produced to universities. Again, Chair, given the high enrollment in the class of 2022, the total number of children that passed the National Senior Certificate stands at 73,386, making it 6,616 more of learners passing in 2022 compared to 2021. The bachelor pass increased by 2.5 from 34.3% in 2021 to 36.8 in 2022. Also, we are bringing chairperson to subject analysis and performance of the system across the spectrum so that we can be able to detect the improvement properly. Of the 53 subjects that we wrote as a province, 23 subjects have shown upward trajectory in the province. 21 subjects dropped by low margins and 9 remain unchanged. The high enrollment and gateway subjects with not less than 10,000 learners for specific subjects showed recommendable improvements. Furthermore, the center performance per quintile improved quite drastically in the province. Honorable Chair. Again, Chair, we want to allude by saying, whilst grade 12 pass rate has been widely discussed and praised, the overall pass rate in the lower grades in the province has also consistently performed quite very well, above 80% for the past 3 years. In 2020, pass rate for grade 1 to 9, we were at 82%, and it improved to 91.7 in 2021, and now it is standing from grade 1 to 9 at 92.3, which means the foundations of education system in the province is beginning to gel. And how should we then make sure that we preserve that legacy, Chair? It's a matter that we needed to engage on and ensure that. But part of the exercise that we wanted also to bring to the attention of the members is that as a province, we are one of the targeted provinces in the piloting of GET certification in grade 9. You will remember that we have not been having a standardized tool of assessment and measurement between grade 1 to grade 11 in the country. And now we are then bringing an instrument that must determine whether the cognitive development of a learner in the province, in essence, relates with the grading and the progression of learners, as appears in your reports. So as to avoid, Chair, your kid having level 7s in all subjects, only to learn that this level 7 in this school, by the way, is level 3 in that school. Because you don't have a standardized system that is scientifically tested and begin to appreciate the ground that must be traveled. Again, Chair, we wanted to bring to the attention of the House and the honorable members that in as much as we happened to be at 77.3, but there is science that we needed to follow properly as a province. Quintile 1 to quintile 3 in the province performed to a level of bringing the province into position 4 in the country. If you take quintile 1 to 3 in the country and analyze it properly, again, if you take quintile 4 and 5, quintile 4 and 5 of the province in the country is at position 3. Is at position 3. And again, if you zoom deeper into the subject, the content of what we're busy with there, you will see that this is a province of accountants, because the accounting subject is number one in the country in this province. Now, where we must make sure that our eyes don't leave the ball is on the mathematics, because mathematics and science is an overarching high enrollment subject in the province. So in essence, it means this is a math and science province. Now, your results are in math and science. But fortunately for us, Chair, as I'm trying to wrap up, fortunately for us, the maths is in decline in the entire country. So, but what is dangerous about mathematics in the province, not in the country, is that we are number one in terms of math participation in the country. So we have got more learners participating in mathematics. So not having strategic and targeted interventions on mathematics in the province, you run a risk of a province that might not have a system that is improving. But again, Chair, I just wanted to reflect before I go to HR issues that we are again performing quite very well in terms of the physical sciences as a province, quite very strange. Because you'll remember that there is a relationship between physics and maths. But we are performing to a level of rated within the top 3 in the country in physical sciences. So I'm saying the system is resolving the unresolved issues.
5 minutes left.
The system is resolving its own unresolved issues, Chair. On the National Schools Program, Chair, we have a decentralized model and provides resources to schools for the purpose of employing volunteers, food handlers, also making sure that we prioritize equipment like gas, fuel, and other equipment that are needed. But what is important about this aspect is that as a province, we have introduced a second meal. We've introduced a second meal for 1.27, that is 1,027,000 kids, 27,000 kids in the province, so that you can cushion the crisis of the destitute families, kids that comes from destitute families without food, waiting for a lunch that will be either served between 11 and 12. And that period is quite dangerous for us. Again, Chair, we are bringing to the attention of the House that the department will continue to increase the number of public schools throughout the province, particularly in the rural areas. We are currently having 24 special schools that we're servicing as resource centers, and are also providing specialized support for full service schools and neighboring schools. We are lifting up the Handcliffe Primary School hostel, which we have located in Queenstown. So as part of responding to the cry of the northwestern area of the province, in particular on the autism problem. You remember that we have got autism school in Port Elizabeth and the other one which is private in the East London. Now we are introducing the other one now in Queenstown so that you respond to the issues relating to Joe Gabi and Krisani area. We have also handed Chairperson, as part of the inclusive education, the infrastructure at Tembisa Special School in OR Tambo with a value of 189 million, first phase. And that is that we still need to go for a second phase on it so that we can be able to respond to the bigger crisis that we have in the province. We are going to hand over a number of schools in the province. For example, in Matole West, we are going to hand over the Vukile Chwete Secondary School, Nkokweni Primary School in Alfred Nzo, so Patisana Senior Secondary School in Buffalo City, JS Kenjana in Naidutwa in Matole East, Twekwe School, High School in Kandani, Honorable Truyuche, Honorable Nyalambisa, along the coast. So I'm saying there is work that is being done, Chair. On the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, we are going to appoint 40,000 young people through the Presidential Youth Initiative that we started almost 2 years back. What I can lift about this program, Chair, is that yenze busy pha ekuhlaleni le program. Because pha ekuhlaleni uba nengxaki yabantu abaphela bengenanto kwenza, who are a battalion of young people. But I would want to take my hat off for the HOD and the team, in particular the HRD, Chief Directorship. If there is anything that we are good at as a province, is this one. Both from a policy point of view and also from an operational point of view. I don't know how many times I've been trying to avoid Sitia Lucanio to be taken out of the province because of this program. That shows how dedicated the officials of the department are on some of these initiatives, Chair. Our nightmares, Chair, as I said earlier on, is the performance improvement on maths and science, in particular on maths.
You are left with 1 minute.
Precisely because of the reasons that I have alluded into. Despite the challenge that the department is faced with, Chair, on the shifting of the ECD, we have been able to succeed on that project. But here are the issues that I think we needed to bring to the attention of the people of the province. Currently, out of 5,323 ECD centers in operation, we have got 2,786 of those centers registered and funded. We have got 514 centers that are being in the process of registration and 2,025 that are not registered yet, which begins to suggest, Chair, that we needed to close up that gap. In conclusion, Chair, we want also to appreciate the intervention that has been made by the HOD, the officials of the department, in serving the only aviation school that we have in this country. The only aviation school you have in this country in Port Alfred. And that would have been disastrous. And I'm therefore committing, Chair, that we had to find an alternative way out of creating an emergence partnership with that institution so that you save the pilot faculty on some of the areas of focus in that institution. And again, Chair, we want to thank the stakeholders in education, trade unions, all people with direct and indirect interest on education for the stability that they have demonstrated.
Your
Thank
time
you for
is
the
up,
time
your
and
time
thank
is
you,
up.
Chairperson.
Thank you. Order. The
Chair,
policy speech
we-
and
we-
all
we
the
are
tabled.
tabling the policy budget speech as outlined with the annual performance plan for 2023 and 2024.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, Sub-Rule 2. Secretary, can you read the 10th order of the day, please?
Tabling of vote number 8, rural development and agrarian reform.
I'll call upon the member of Executive Council responsible for Dr. Da to present the 2023-24 policy speech in terms of Rule 202, Sub-Rule 3. Over to you, MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Premier, Honorable members of the Executive Council, Honorable members of this august House, the Honorable members of the Portfolio Committee of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform led by Dr. Bese, Honorable members of the House of Traditional Leadership, leadership of Farmers Association, rural communities of our beloved province. They are up there, the leaders of farmer organizations, women and youth in agriculture and rural development, religious leaders, distinguished guest members of media, Manenenani Manenekas, and all officials that are here, and the officials of the department led by HOD and officials from ECRDA and a board member from ECRDA. I greet you all. Goeiemiddag Alma. Honorable Speaker, we are gathered here today to give an account of the work performed during 2022-23 financial year and to present our plans for the coming financial year. In May 2019, on the occasion of presidential inauguration, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa had this to say: "It is you, the people of South Africa, who have spoken. With your votes, you have placed your confidence and your trust in the men and women who now sit in our sixth democratic parliament. These 490 men and women whom you have sent to parliament seem to have heard the same call that the Lord made to Isaiah when he said, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?' They have now said, send us, including you, Honorable Bobby. They have said to Martina, you have chosen them to safeguard your rights, to improve your lives, and to build a country that is united, strong, and truly free. You, the people of South Africa, have sent them, and you have sent me as your president," close quote. The president was speaking on behalf of all of us as public representatives. We dedicate ourselves to ensure that we accelerate the efforts to improve the lives of our people for better. Having taken the oath of office, I pledge to, in response to the President's call of Tumamin. In the year 2024 will be the celebration of 30 years since the advent of our democracy. Therefore, it is upon us as government to consolidate our gains and accelerate service delivery. The ruling party has declared this year as a year of decisive action to advance the people's interest. In response to this clarion call, and as a result of various engagements I held with various stakeholders in the sector, the department has taken a decisive decision to no longer linger when it comes to support of the vulnerable groups, and such has ring-fenced 40% of the service delivery budget to support women, youth, persons with disabilities, and military veterans. This intervention will broaden participation and contribute to the transformation we so need in agricultural sector. We appreciate that in spite of the challenges in the sector, our people have remained resolute that their government will deliver on their expectation. And as we all know, Chair, we are not immune as a sector from load shedding. So in response to this challenge of load shedding, as the department through DALRAD Ministerial Task Team on Energy Crisis has made a call to ESCOM to consider a properly planned load shedding approach in agriculture and food production enterprises in the short term. As a result, there has been a pilot program commissioned by ESCOM wherein the Langkloof farmers in the province received load curtailment, which is currently being implemented in that area. Going forward, the plan is to roll out the load curtailment for all high agriculture productive areas, otherwise, in the long term, the agriculture sector needs to consider alternative source of energy, and we are pleased that the national government has committed 8 billion from Zivubu Water Project, starting with Ntabelanga Dam water reticulation for human consumption, irrigation infrastructure, and later energy generation. To take advantage of this pronouncement, the province has partnered with the World Bank Group to develop agricultural investment plan for value chain industries in the eastern part of the province. Honorable Chair, Deputy Chair of Chairs, the agricultural sector still lags behind on transformation, with smallholder farmers contributing a mere 5% against 95% by commercial farmers. It is in this context that the departmental programs are targeting smallholder communal farmers to empower them to move to commercial level. In the next financial year, we will continue with the blended finance scheme. As such, an additional allocation of 50 million between ourselves and ECRDA through ECDC through ECRDA. This vehicle will support black farmers to participate in the targeted commodity value chains and improve bankability of their enterprises. Deputy Chair of Chairs, the department, in partnership with the private sector, will accelerate implementation of support programs to ensure an increased participation of black smallholder producers through the value chain, including access to markets. And this intervention is aimed to create sustainable agro-businesses. In the next financial year, the department will continue with its support to farmers towards complying with food safety standards through good agriculture practice that allows farmers to access markets. Through the existing partnership with Perishable Products Export Control Board, the department will continue to train farmers towards GAP compliance, while PPECB will audit and register 9 fresh produce farms in Krisani and Sarapartman. The department will continue will complete, because we've already started with the rural market centers in both Amatole and OR Tambo, and we've set aside a budget of 1.8 million. ECRDA is engaging development financial institutions, provincial, treasury, and DDIT to repurpose the red hubs into product aggregation centers for marketing and associated services. To this end, in 2023-2024, we are giving ECRDA 11.2 million for red hubs. The department is implementing the grain partnership model in the grain corridors to commercialize grain production in the smallholder communal production areas. This provides an opportunity for the department to aggregate grain production in the high potential areas. We know the corridors. You can also read here the partners that we have as the department. And in the next financial year, in this year, when we're launching our cropping season, we've launched it in Ntabankulu, Kulali, Eselufafa, apho kukho umfama nekhampani enguqhamani Nandi primary co-op aqokelele umhlaba ungasebenziyo okhoyo apha ezilalini oyi-700 hectares. In order to accelerate the cropping program, we're engaging with traditional authorities in quest of securing the vast fallow communal land in the productive areas of the province. In the next financial year, we will support this commodity with 102 million that we've set aside to plow 27,774 hectares, where we'll have beneficiaries as in 9,045 for smallholder and subsistence producers. These hectares will be planted in high potential grain corridors in the following districts, that is the 5 districts with the exception of Sarapartman, and also will support them with 129 kilometers of fence in all these 5 districts. And in the new financial year, in order to address the non-availability of white maize in the province, which resulted to the underutilization of the red herbs, the department will support both white and yellow maize production. Furthermore, the department will be constructing a 1,500-ton grain silo in Hlonhlo local municipality. And the above-mentioned infrastructure projects will create 87 job opportunities during construction. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, animal and animal products constitute 55% of our agricultural income, and export of livestock is a great opportunity that our farmers should exploit. And in the 2022-23 financial year, a total of 14,465 live animals valued at 144 million were exported to African countries, because we usually export to a Middle East, but due to the litigation by the animal welfare organizations, we did not export in 2022. So the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement presents a vast opportunity for the expansion of the livestock program of the province. So in the next financial year, the department has allocated 12.8 million to support genetic improvement of communal and smallholder farmers with 250 cattle, 500 sheep and 200 goats, and a further 2.9 million has been set aside to support custom feeding lots, that because we have 17 in the province. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, we have also set aside 42.5 million for infrastructure, where we will be doing dipping tanks and renovating some of them, and also handling facilities in the regions that are mentioned here. To enhance the marketability of our livestock, improve biosecurity issues, and reduce stock theft, the country is currently rolling out livestock identification and traceability system. This will ensure all cattle can be traced back to the area of origin. As part of this program, the department has set aside 5 million to ensure realization of leads in the province, while taking advantage of market linkages that will be established through the partnership with ARC for the implementation of KYD scheme in the province. The province produces 38% of the national wool clip and 83% of mohair. Sorry. Through our collaborations with related commodity groups, we have seen substantial growth in the income generated from wool sales in the communal space. And in the next financial year, Deputy Chair of Chairs, we are setting aside 24.4 million has been set aside to construct 17 sharing or multi-purpose sheds, and we'll be renovating some, and we'll be buying equipment for those that are already existing in the following regions. A further investment of 3.7 million will be used to support more hair farmers in the Sarah Parman region. And on animal health support, animal health remains paramount in producing marketable and economically viable livestock in order to compete in the market whilst ensuring food security and food safety. So in the next financial year, the department will continue to improve the health of our animals, and this we are putting aside 44 million. We are commending farmers from the province who are working with the department in ensuring that we guard our province against the foot and mouth disease scourge that has been a challenge in other provinces. Until now, only Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, and Western Cape remain free of this disease. Also, Honorable Chair of Chairs, rural farmers have been challenged by the unprecedented outbreaks of African swine fever in Sarah Parman and African horse sickness in OR Tambo. Due to the negative impact of the African horse sickness in OR Tambo, the department is sourcing the vaccine to vaccinate 1,200 horses. Fisheries and aquaculture is a subsector of agriculture that has the potential to improve food security, economic development, job creation, and rural development. So in the next financial year, as the department were allocating an amount of 1.7 million to kickstart the support of fishers in the province. To this end, 5 cooperatives will be supported with 195 fishers in the OR Tambo, Amatole, and OR district municipalities will be supported with fishing gear to enable them to utilize the fishing rights. In the Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, in the next financial year, the department is accelerating the development of freshwater aquaculture and inland fisheries by establishing a freshwater aquaculture demonstration facility at Doni at a cost of 4.5 million. And one of the things that will be done, amongst all others, is that that facility will be used for training for aquaculture farmers and supply fingerlings to the farmers, including Mbashe Marine Tilapia project and stocking of earth dams in rural areas as part of promoting inland fisheries. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the citrus growers were adversely affected by the price hikes on a number of inputs due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Russia-Ukraine conflict, and trade barriers that were imposed by EU. The major inputs cost affected were fertilizer and fuel, amongst others. So what we have done in this financial year to assist, and also load shedding, how can I forget load shedding? And also load shedding. What we have done in this financial year, we have committed to support the distressed citrus farmers by
5 minutes
implementing
left.
farmer support to revive. We've allocated them 12.4 million. So in the next financial year, we'll continue with our support with 8.4 million and 2.9 million for infrastructure in the other farms. And also, Chair, we're setting aside 14 million for vegetable value chain. We are going to support them with infrastructure, and the 15 million has been budgeted to support vegetable production. And also, we have set aside 4.2 million to construct a 10,000 piggery unit in Alfred Nzo, and also 4.6 million for poultry and piggery. And on cannabis, and now I Chair. Eastern Cape should continuously lobby national government to remove legislative barriers of entry for indigenous cannabis growers to fully participate in the cannabis industry. It is important for us as Eastern Cape legislature to use our legislative mandate to ensure that the enacted legislation, rules and regulations are not blocking our people who have been growing cannabis for centuries in Pondoland, and we're setting aside 10.4 million for cannabis. And also there are partnerships that have been forged by ECRDA, and also on Usiazondla, the household food security. We've set aside 40 million for 22,620. And for the first time in the budget of the department, where we're setting aside 1 million for apiculture, that means the lama farmer or news obusike, because ubusi buphume ezinyosini. And going to Chair, Delraj has appointed 831 agricultural assistant practitioners in the province for 3 months, and they have placed them in all the centers of the department. And we have been allocated 121 as the department that we have to appoint for a contract of 3 years. As of now, we have appointed 85 abanye ke kusavetwa qualifications zabo, and we have set aside 45 million for that. And also on youth, we have 120 young people that we are skilling, and also we have placed them in commercial farms. And for all the training and skills of farmers and farm workers, we're
2
setting
minutes
aside
left.
16.9, and we have 10.4 for stipend for the 120, so that those families can have something. And on the Mandiza Petin, you have all of you have these boxes. Kodwa kukho into ebalulekileyo kuqala phambi kwale box, that we are providing water as part of rural development. So the spring waters, we are going to do 9 in this financial year for 5.3. You can read for yourselves. From Emakwa, there is this tea. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, I've given you this. And also, Makwa entered into partnership agreement with SAPI to sell timber and revitalize forestry plantation. Silindele kubake kuzongena ingeniso ye 5 million. So it's going to at least assist a little bit. So we're allocating 29.3 million to ITAD in this, to Imakwa this financial year. Kodwa kananga itithi, Deputy Chair of Chairs, that as part of promoting agro-tourism in Makwa and Majority Estate, the estate hosted film production and shooting of Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible, by Scorpio Film Production. This in turn will place Makwa and Majola a mapping in the international map and Eastern Cape. Lastly, as I conclude, we commit to work hard to speed up transformation of rural economies through commercialization of agriculture in changing the lives of our people for the better. Chair, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, we've been given 2.3 billion as this department. As you can see, to compensation of employees, it's 1.4, and goods and services is 461 million, and transfers and subsidies is 307 million. So that's why I was saying 40% of the service delivery budget will be going to youth, people living with disabilities, and military veterans. Kodwa kukho laa mntu, Deputy Chair of Chairs, Brenda Scoop, uthi my
Please,
grandfather
table
used to say,
table
once
documents.
in your lifetime, you need a doctor, lawyer, a policeman, a preacher, but every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, allow me to table the budget of Dr. Da and ECRDA, the annual performance plan, operational plan for both Dr. Da and the NDT.
The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161. Subgroup 2. Honorable members, let me remind the next executive members, that is the MECs, that the Whips Committee has allocated 20 minutes to each member of the executive to present the policy speech. Can we observe that, honorable members? Please. Secretary, can you read the second order?
Tabling of vote number 10, transport.
MEC, responsible for the Department of Transport. Your floor is yours.
Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Chief Whip, members of the Executive Council, honorable members, the provincial management, and ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chair of Chairs, members are saying, I just thought, let me alert you about this. When I was approaching the podium as to what is it that I'm going to give members, and they insist that I should be giving them bulletproofs because I work with police and the taxi people. I would like to take this opportunity to greet you all on this occasion when the Department of Transport is offered another opportunity to present itself to this House to share the trajectory it will take in this 2023-2024 financial year. As we enter the mid-mark of the medium term, it has been imperative to reflect on our effectiveness against the mandate we carry. While one has been entrusted with the undertaking to lead this department, it has indeed afforded me an occasion to appreciate the achievements and the opportunities that are alive in the transport sector towards the service of the people of the Eastern Cape. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, as a country recovering from the realities of our past, we take tune from the President's emphatic stance that there is no space for corrupt officials in our government. And as a department, we are forging forward to drive a high-performance organization through ideals of good governance. We'll realize this through the measures we are putting in place to strengthen our risk management and ethical leadership practices to enable effective performance. This will allow the department to be resilient to the current climate where unethical behavior and corruption has hit our government. And as a common cause, we have had challenges in relation to this sphere, exacerbated and witnessed through the media reports and information that has reached public domain, aimed at tarnishing the reputation of the institution. Our efforts also seek to legitimize our operating environment and ensure that we respond to the legislative mandate under which we are governed by the agencies, among others, the Public Service Administration. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, I have charged the departmental leadership to set the tone from the top, and I'm assured of this through the strengthening of the governance and assurance functions and asserting tolerance levels of the organization accomplished already by this financial year in terms of what are these issues that are tolerated in the department, what are these issues that we will not tolerate. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the department is institutionalizing its approved service delivery model, and through this has found comfort that its operating model will meet its mandate and overall service delivery expectations. The department has taken very deliberate steps towards enacting its service delivery model in order to enhance and fast-track the delivery of services and improve the lives of our people. This is evidenced in the methodology we have undertaken by planning for this financial year, where we have embraced the ideals of decentralization in order to empower our districts towards alignment with the district development model. The effecting of the organizational structure in this coming financial year will be another step towards achieving administrative alignments in these strategies, so that our decentralization is felt and the presence of our department is felt in the districts in real terms. We have also finalized the preparations of final chapters of a reviewed Eastern Cape Provincial Master Plan, which reflects on the sectoral plans for the period 2010 to 2050. Among the sectoral plans include the Public Transport Master Plan. The document will presented to the provincial leadership emerging strategies to tackle the transportation needs of the province for the remaining term, and that the department will facilitate the internal consultations required for institutionalizing the policy framework and facilitate the process to have it rectified by the provincial management and executive council as part of the plans to this coming financial year. The plans I present to you today, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, is an effort to balance out the demands from our communities and stakeholders, but a dichotomy with myriad of challenges, particularly the constrained fiscus within which we find ourselves operating. So the strength of our operating model lies in consolidation of partner relations with government agencies in the sector, charged with the mandate and ensuring maximized investment in the province for the benefit of our people. We have managed to maintain the cumulative collection rate of 88% as at the end of February 2023 against our annual target. Honorable members, the Department of Transport is suffering great consequences due to the reduced footprint of the Southern Post Office in the province, following the closure of not less than 32 of their offices. We are considering other revenue collection modalities to avoid our current hindrance in the new financial year. As an intervention on the challenges with SAPO, as well as enhancing revenue generation, the department is in engagement with the RTMC to undertake the licensing functions in some areas. It is our intention to extend the intervention to areas where revenue collection of the province is affected by defaulting municipalities. The Government Fleet Management Services will be engaging the Provincial Treasury to leverage on revenue collection towards the procurement of 36 yellow fleet for transport maintenance operations. Our business case will demonstrate the return on the investment intended to benefit the department and province at large from our proposed internal rental arrangements. And I can say already that we've seen that from the side of municipalities there is an appetite where they will be using our fleet management service for their hiring services and so on, which will augment own revenue to us as a province. The department sustained a qualified audit opinion primarily from the control of deficiencies in the scholar transport program. The shortfalls in the funding of these services are exacerbated by these inefficiencies inherited over the years. And the detected malicious and fraudulent activities which will not be left unattended. We will undertake the decentralization of scholar transport function and implement the scholar transport system to run this dynamic around, to turn this around. If not for anything but the interest of the learner beneficiaries who depend on this service to have access to their constitutional right to education. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the department has had to find strategies to respond with agility to the funding crisis in the scholar transport program in aversion of the provincial crisis from non-payment of operators as having been witnessed in the beginning of the academic year. It is unfortunate, Deputy Chair of Chairs, that we enter this financial year with another shortfall which will cripple our ability to effectively deliver our mandate for this service. Engagement with Provincial Treasurer to find a common ground in this regard, it's very critical for us to avert disruption in the second term of the academic financial year. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, in the new financial year, the department will revert back to its indicative baseline of 103,000 learners from the 125,107 learners that have been ferried since during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, to align the budget, we have established a baseline of 67,107 learners to be ferried in this year. We will assess the financial position of the department in outer years to re-establish a new baseline. The scholar transport contract in the coming financial year will be awarded to coincide with the implementation of a learner transport support system, as indicated earlier. We are endemically aware that we will not be able to deliver this program in isolation with other stakeholders. We intend to bring them closer by establishing district-level forum to facilitate standardization of service provisioning at a district and local level, leveraging on our service delivery model. The changes in the operating model for the scholar transport system will coincide with the beginning of the new financial year, and from the 1st of April 2023, will empower district management to take full delegated authority of scholar transport program. As we emerge from the era of new normal, reacquaint ourselves to work life as we knew it pre-COVID-19. We released the gains in our investment into the electronic document management system. The system has seen a marked improvement in the turnaround time on document submission for approval, eliminating costly human errors, and addressing the risk in the manipulation of documents. 2023-2024 financial year, we shall continue with our radical approach on the digital transformation of performance monitoring and evaluation system and modernize departmental performance management processes. The Department of Transport remains committed to turning its audit outcome around, and the digital transformation strategy, therefore, is again the formidable enabler behind achieving this objective. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, in our attempts to shift towards an improved skills profile for the department, we have enrolled some of our senior management of the executive to an executive development program at the University of Nelson Mandela, among other things, which will issue bursary of the department to a total of about 145 bursaries and, and so on. So our pledges last year, we committed to be deliberate in addressing the 47% unemployment rate in the province, ensuring that we have skilled and knowledgeable personnel in critical areas. The department has also entered into agreements to ensure further development of its former bursary holders who have completed civil engineering qualifications in 2022, and 26 of these civil engineers graduates have been appointed already as candidate technicians for a period of 3 years and placed in the Department of Infrastructure program. The department has further brought 120 graduates on board. We are also happy to report, Deputy Chair of Chairs, that the department has also established an internal center for technical development through which we deliver artisans and operational and professional development programs. This center, which is partnered with the SETA, is at its infancy, but to date has accomplished to facilitate skills development programs of community-based program beneficiaries and departmental officials in mechanical and civil profession. The department facilitated the successful graduation of 25 traffic officer trainees who were trained with the Nelson Mandela Traffic College. Deputy Chair of Chairs, as part of our strategic objective to redirect freight off the roads and back to rail, the department has secured investment into the province through the establishment of the Eastern Cape Rail Committee for the projects that will be implemented in Nelson Mandela Metro and Buffalo City Metro, OR Tambo, Amatole, working with PRASA and Transnet. Have committed, both PRASA and Transnet, they have committed to implement a portfolio with a 10 billion investment over the 5 years, commencing with 2023 to 2028, towards a rail revival in the province. Through these initiatives, the provincial rail will be revitalized. Inadvertently, will enable to use the following rail infrastructure: the Amabele branch line to Mthatha, and the Blaine branch line to Cookhouse, Ado branch line to Kirkwood will be the beneficiaries of this initiative. We have in this Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs facilitated as a province the occupation of the Bisho Airport by the Southern Defence Force. We have been utilizing the portion of the airport for the performance of their normal duties. Through this engagement, we will facilitate that the airport undergoes refurbishment over the next 3 years. Additionally, Deputy Chair of Chairs, the department is also engagements with the government of the United Arab Emirates as an additional tenant of the airport. We will invest 50 million to upgrade the Bisho Airport. The investment will help drive the much-needed revival of the provincial economy from the effects of the COVID-19. I did not know, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, that the Bisho Airport has the longest runway compared to other airports in the province. Hence, those big aircrafts will be able to land there comfortably. Yeah, we bring. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the department facilitated on the feasibility study, feasibility assessment of the Bishop Airport. I am glad to report that the feasibility report has been completed, will be handed over. And these will bring needed agricultural
5 minutes left.
Oh, 5 minutes already. Okay. On let me just go to the conclusion. No, I've been warned already. I can't take that risk like others. The Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, we're investing more on the road infrastructure in the province, particularly the maintenance of our rural roads, ensuring access to education and health facilities. With forging forward with Welisizwe program to deal with the bridges in the province. And we're quite aware of the impact of the recent disasters to our road infrastructure. We're building partnerships, working tightly with the municipalities to strengthen our ability to work with the municipalities so that we can deal with the whole challenges of road infrastructure. These include an engagement of a youth brigade that will engage to wage a war against potholes. It's part of the things that we'll be focusing on going forward, and use our PWP program effectively to deal with this challenge. To conclude, Honorable Chair, we enter this lap of the sixth administration of this ANC-led government in the Eastern Cape. As we gear up to usher in the seventh administration, the onus is on us to ensure that we sign off on a high note. It is the challenge we have embraced as the department, a challenge that we are equal to. The 2023-2024 financial year provides us with yet another chance to correct the wrongs that we have picked up as we reflect on the actions of this financial year. But most importantly, it grants us an opportunity to double our efforts of multiplying the gains that dozens of the Eastern Cape citizens have mandated this government towards improving their lives and take our province forward. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, I take this opportunity to table the policy speech, the annual performance plan and the operational plan, and thank you.
Thank you. The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, Sub-Rule 2. Secretary, kindly read the 12th order of the day.
Tabling of budget vote number 14, sport, recreation, arts and culture.
Honorable MEC, present your 2023 to 2024 policy speech in terms of Rule 202, Sub-Rule 3. You may proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Chair of Chairs. Revolutionary greetings to you, Deputy Chair of Chairs, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the executive members of the legislature, and the Honorable Premier in his absence, my colleagues, the Honorable members of the Executive Council, the Honorable members of this House, and the Chief Whip of the House, Utatuloiso Makashela. Citizens of this home of legends, Eastern Cape, DG and your team and all government officials. I also want to greet the Deputy Chair of the House of Traditional Leaders, Umthembo Mhle Nkosukwazinamba Matanzima. We are also honored, Deputy Chair of Chairs, in our presence, there's Usisintsiki Biko, the wife of the stalwart, comrade, Steve Bantu Bonke Biko, Upaphezulu nankia. All the distinguished guests, and our friends, the media. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, as the department, we're
Order.
aligning ourselves with the Eastern Cape Government Provincial Policy priority number 6, that of social cohesion and safer communities. And therefore, our focus as the department this coming financial year is more on enhancing mass mobilization, strengthening social cohesion, and drive moral regeneration. Our programs, projects, and activities will be informed by the Eastern Cape Prioritization Framework of 23-24 financial years, which seeks to address the implementation of, among others, the Provincial Social Cohesion Strategy, Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Strategy, and Moral Regeneration Movement Strategy. We want to acknowledge the heroes and heroines that hail from this province and that have put this province in the higher pedestals. In the team of the Banyana, this province has 6 Eastern Cape-born players who were playing for the WAFCON, or Women's Africa Cup of Nations, and they won last year. The first female referee, Akona Makalima from Ngamakwe, will be officiating the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia. and
Honorable
New Zealand.
members, can we stop interrupting the Honorable MEC, please?
Akona Makalima will be officiating the 2023 FIFA World Women's Cup in Australia and New Zealand in July and August this year. Siyamxhasa. Border women rugby team that won the National League, the team continues to be the biggest feeder to the women's Springbok team. The 3 Eastern Cape players in women cricket national team that reached the finals World Cup recently, you have seen them playing. Here we refer to Ayabonga Kaka from Eklesi, Sinalo Jafta from Ekwa, and Marizam Kemp from Ekbecha. We also want to acknowledge the role played by Osimniki Webong, who just attained a bronze medal in the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. Tisetso Matikinga crowned as Africa champion division in games held in Mozambique 2022. Amzolele Teyi and Lubalo Sis got gold medal in Africa in Mozambique. Sivenati, the only one, Nunchinga, International Boxing Federation, junior flyweight, as the only world champ that we have, just coming from Danzan, as Queen. On the reaching new markets, in our pipeline film projects, we are developing strategies across genres. We are supporting long-format television production, such as Ultimate Book Show, which you see in your SABC3 TV series. We have further 13 film projects that we are developing that consist of factual documentaries, short films, and once-off features. As part of galvanizing continuity to the work of such has been undertaken, further support is being sought for a telenovela Gqeberha, The Empire, that in our drama series that you know. This will ensure continuity and create formidable environment. Further than that, documentaries such as Uhati, Silibalekile, Paulina Khosinsomi, and the gallant actor and creative Dr. Madusini's life and times will be shown in your smaller series and screens. While short films like Rise of Unguni, Inkunzi Matikane, Isabelo Skatata are aimed at hosting the provincial flag high in the film festival on the continent. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, market access is a priority, and through our support we have been able to ensure that our locally produced film series, The Ultimate Book Show, is showcased in France and the prestigious International Cannes Film Festival. The show the above show plays and will continue to play on the SABC during the weekdays between 3 and 4, started on the 1st of November to the 30th of November 2023. So, nizomane nibuka phaniti zezethu ezi. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, through ACPEC and partnership with municipalities, we will attract more youth to join Nonkqubela Weaving Cooperative. The department will further provide capacity building opportunities to 770 practitioners in various training programs, skills including mural paintings and scale mosaic sculpture. So we want to encourage the youth to be very busy and active. We'll also bring to life our existing community art centers to potentially expand their role in assisting in the artists. As our community art centers are really providing support and assist those aspiring artists. We'll promote the involvement of youth in the department as ambassadors with a view to encourage career choices through creation of job opportunities in sports, recreation, arts, culture, heritage, library, and archive sectors. 300 young people will be drawn, particularly from rural areas, to benefit from this. This is all in an endeavor to unearth the talent that is out there, hidden in our areas, in rural areas. On geographical place name changes program, the department will focus on post-gazetting, enhance public awareness, and continue conduct public hearings with a view to standardize places names. The following place names, among others, will be considered: Tal, Takastad, Tilton, Stekstrom, Algoa Bay, Colchester, and East London, etc. The exhumation, repatriation, and reburial program, the department will repatriate the remains of Zwelibanzi Kwechube, Yiva Vioyo, from Mamelodi to Bizana, Upper Eastern Cape. All our heroes and heroines are lying out there, and the department is committed to bring back their remains. King Zanzolo Yinza from Ngabaha village to Ngadu Great Place. In collaboration with the National Department of Sports and Culture, Department of Justice, and Department of Military Veterans, we will facilitate the repatriation of the remains of the South Africans that fell during the liberation struggle in Tanzania and Lesotho, respectively. This financial year will remember the life and times of Nkosi Jongo Msobomvu Maqoma, who passed away while in prison 150 years ago. You will remember that recently we had a dialogue in the life and times of Nkosi Jongo Msobomvu Maqoma that was held in East London City Hall. We'll also celebrate the centenary of the birth of Isitolande Utatu William Wilton Zimasile Bribrim Kwai, a freedom fighter who spent 25 years in prison. This year also marks the 30th anniversary of the assassination of Comrade Chris Tembisile Hani on the 10th of April 1993. Therefore, the month of April is dedicated to such a cause. The month of October will also be dedicated to the life and legacy of the legendary Olwar Tambo, who passed away on the 21st of April 1993. On our resistance and heritage route, we would want to restore the poet's grave, Utatu S.E.K. Mqai. Most of you know his poems, Entabozuk, and also build a memorial dedicated to the boxer, the champion Happy Boy Mqaji, and other heroes and heroines from Dansane. We want to also develop a Robert Lamb Peterson's burial site, Esulenkama in Kuku, and refurbish Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela cultural landscape at Mbongweni village in Bizana. We know this has been a cry for the longest time. On the same vein, we will revamp the Cradock 4 exhibition at Great River Museum in Cradock. The department also will install exhibitions in Hilltown, such as Bofolo, which is now known as Maqoma. The exhibition on the 1992 Bisho Massacre and other epochs of conflict in the province, including 19th century wars of resistance at Bisho Memorial Massacre Center. Then the department will then commemorate the years of dispossession. We are told and very clear that we must not say these wars are the battles. They are no battles, but the wars. So there's a difference between a war and a battle. This is another debate for another day. Guided by the Eastern Cape Use of Official Languages Act of 2016 and its regulations of 2020, the department will vigorously and aggressively pursue corpus planning initiatives, will entail, amongst others, orthography, terminology, development and establishment of language units in government departments, not only focusing in our department. So, sicela sincedisane sonke ke emasebeni municipalities and other entities. We shall continue working with institutions of higher learning and the Pan South African Language Board to develop vocabulary in our indigenous languages. This will also help the young people that are growing up. As we are celebrating the Eastern Cape icons and on the multilingualism, we want to focus on the sign language and Khoisan languages. Sign language is now accorded official status. Even Khoisan language is also accorded as official language. Then in language revitalization efforts, the department trained 10 people in the introduction to the NAMA in Graaff-Reinet. For 2023, the same group will go through a more in-depth training session to be more fluent in NAMA language. These training programs will be starting at community and schools, targeted areas guided by the NAMA facilitators that we've just trained. With an amount of 1.1 million, the department will enhance its e-book system, ensuring that communities are provided with a much wider variety of books to select from for their diverse reading needs. The department will also continue to provide and maintain resource collection which are response to the varying needs of the communities. We will continue to make a deliberate effort to support local authors by buying their publications into our public libraries. Because by doing such, we'll be supporting our upcoming authors. On digitization of archives, the project for the conversion of provincial archival records into digital format will continue. This project will assist in enhancing preservation and access of these records. The unemployed youth, especially graduates, will be recruited to assist in this one. The observation is that even the departments don't have the systems to keep records in their departments. If you're looking for records, people are really found wanting. So we want to encourage departments to make use of this system. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, sports and recreation is an ideal school for life for all of us. As the Lenderary phrase say, a healthy mind in a healthy body remains the realistic nexus that makes the sports and recreation inseparable and integral part of our lives. So singahlali nje singabantu abangenzi into. Our plans are underpinned by mass participation, development, and excellence. This approach will also cover school sports, out of school youth, those that are confederated and out of or unconfederated. In 2023, working with the Eastern Cape Sports Confederation, the department will pay attention and focus on taking sports to all corners of this province. And will focus more on even those that are not federated, those youth that is out of school, so that we keep this province active in all corners. Per what? Maybe it's an ambition. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, one of the resolutions of the Cabinet Lekgotla was that the coordination of the various mayoral cup must be escalated to the provincial level in a form of the Premier's Cup. So we want to encourage departments, municipalities and all stakeholders to be active and participate.
5 minutes left.
So that we all participate. We are short of saying is about compulsory. During 2023-24 financial year, the department will implement Premier's provincial sports development games to ensure that the sports and recreation system is disrupted to include all citizens in the province. This program seeks to promote active communities in each ward, crossing through the valleys and hills, cities and towns of the province, increase participation, strengthen sport institutions, unearth the hidden talent that is out there. This year in July, I can't sit down without mentioning this one, South Africa will be hosting the Netball World Cup in Cape Town. So when that Netball World Cup trophy arrives in the province, which we are the second last province to be given this trophy, we will have built up programs towards the actual Netball World Cup in Cape Town. So we'll issue out the plan and roll out the programs to all district municipalities so that people participate and feel that indeed South Africa is hosting the Netball World Cup this year. Working with the Eastern Cape Netball, a pool of netball grades will be set up in each district to serve as ambassadors. We then appeal to all in the province to follow and support netball and not forget to buy tickets so as to support our Protea teams. On boxing, the province is known to be the home for it boxers. In order to retain this accolade and build future world-class boxers, the department working with Boxing South Africa will fund staging of the Eastern Cape Title Boxing Tournament. All winners will be crowned the provincial title belt. These tournaments will be spread across the districts in all tournaments, and inclusion of women bouts will be a must and a non-negotiable. So amantombazane or women will play boxing. We will also stage an all-women professional boxing tournament in August during the Women's Month. Our view is that although boxing is growing at a fast pace, when it comes to males, but when it comes to females, it's not at that level. So that's why we encourage that women also participate in the boxing sports. On recreation, the following programs amongst men will be supported: horse racing, Move for Health, indigenous games, Girl Guides, Boy Scouts, recreation against crime, Children's Day, Big Walk, National Recreation Day. 67 minutes of Tatu Mandela will also be part of the programs that the department will host. The department will pay attention and invest in women boxing and women cricket, women football, as well as netball across its sport and recreation programs. We also would like to include people and women living with disabilities.
2 minutes left. 2.
I think let me conclude. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, as I conclude, I do want to present to this House and the community of the Eastern Cape the 2023-2024 annual performance plans and operation plans for both the department and EXEC, the entity for the department. The department will continue to strive to achieve its vision by investing in people, product, marketing, and infrastructure to ensure there is a solid foundation in place from which our sector can strive. We will ensure that there is greater collaboration, sharing of resources, and establishing networks, as these are key components of success for this diverse sector. Understanding the creative and cultural industries through research, training, and education is key to establishing ongoing development for future generations. Regular review and specific metrics will be identified to ensure additions effective and achieving the outputs on outcomes of the 2023-24 annual performance plan. The department has a budget for administration of 3.2 million, cultural affairs 2.2 million, library and archive services 2.6, sports and recreation. The total budget for this financial year for the department is 993 million. I would like to take this opportunity and thank the officials of the department led by the HOD and all the participants, including the entity, our EXEC entity led by the chairperson and the CEO. Manbulele nakunike malungu ne portfolio committee for the support that they are giving to the department for it to be where it is today. Enkosi kakhulu kuyalebuwa. Baya danki. Enkosi.
The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, Sub-Rule 2. Secretary, can you please read the 13th order of the day?
Tabling of budget vote number 15, community safety.
Member of Executive Council responsible for Department of Community Safety, can you present your 2023-24 policy speech in terms of Rule 203, Sub-Rule 3?
Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs and honorable members, and there are no members of SAP, and nobody is out of Nicole. Oh, okay. Provincial commissioners, regional commissioners, correctional services, and other distinguished guests present here, government officials, peace-loving citizens of the Eastern Cape, good day to all. This policy speech marks the 4th year of the 6th term of the ANC-led democratic administration of government. On the 6th of April 2021, the department changed its name from the Department of Safety and Liaison to the Department of Community Safety through the Government Gazette, and the name change is in line with the Priority 6 of the Medium-Term Strategic Framework 2019-2024 and the NDP 2030 vision, which envisions a South Africa where people feel safe, have no fear of crime. Among other actions to realize this vision are safety audits to be conducted in all communities, focusing on crime and safety conditions of most vulnerable, increased community mobilization and participation in crime prevention and safety initiatives, including the mobilization of youth for inner city safety to secure safe places and spaces for young people. The January 8th statement of the ruling party also laid a solid emphasis on the creation of conditions for peace and stability, as well as guaranteeing safety and security to the people as one of the central pillars of the national democratic society. Fundamentally, the name change influences the way in which the department operates compatible with the additional mandate, which strengthens and expands the mandate to fill all expectations as entranced in the Civilian Secretariat for Police Act. The Act mandates the department to monitor and evaluate the implementation of policing policy in the province, evaluate and monitor police conduct in the province, develop and evaluate safety models and monitoring tools, assist Civilian Secretariat with any monitoring and evaluation projects, and promote community policing relations, also establish and promote partnerships, manage enhancement of community safety structures within the province. So with the name change, therefore, there is a desperate need, for additional human resource to take on and execute an extended mandate of the department. In response to these changes, the department has revised the service delivery model and reviewed the organizational structure to operate optimally through the revision of organizational structure. A chief directorate, which is made up of community policing and partnership, has been established to focus largely on expanded mandate to promote partnership and strengthen community structures. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, there is an approved HR plan which is aligned to the medium-term strategic framework. The department is also embarking on the e-leave system, which will be implemented in the following year. Additionally, the department also has reconfigured itself to establish the Buffalo City districts. In this regard, the department has revised its provincial safety strategy to play a leading role in the coordination of the justice crime prevention cluster, and the extended mandate, the change in the service delivery model informs the review of the organizational structure. The currently approved organizational structure of the department has 305 positions. Out of the 305 positions, only 148 positions were funded at the beginning of 2021. However, the province effected budget cuts and top-sliced the budget. The outcome of this was a reduction of the COE budget, and the number of positions were reduced to 134. From 134 funded positions, only 128 are filled. The reduction of COE budget has a negative impact on the workload of each employee of our department, which results in low staff morale and burnout. We regret to inform you that the department cannot reach out to all communities to fulfill its mandate, cannot establish partnership of various key stakeholders in the fight against crime. This is because of the segregation of duties, which cannot be exercised due to huge staff shortages and budget cuts. The department has the following relevant and strategic stakeholders in the fight against crime and the achievement of its outcome. The SAPS, the department will continue to provide its oversight role over police service in the fight against crime and gender-based violence and femicide. It is through this effort that in return, SAPS is expected to implement all recommendations arising from the departmental oversight findings. In support of our mandate and in response to the fight against crime and gender-based violence and femicide, the department will continue to coordinate crime-fighting structures such as CPFs, street and village committees, neighborhood watch, NGOs, NPOs, faith-based organizations, local government and all departments, traditional leaders and institutions of higher learning, and the JCPS cluster. It is through this collaborative effort that our vision of safer Eastern Cape will be realizable, accountable, effective policing will be realized. These are also platforms where communities can dialogue, participate, cooperate with the police. These platforms play a crucial role in the provision of oversight to the police service. On our provincial safety strategy, the provincial safety strategy has been launched under the slogan, Musa ukuthula kusonakala. This PSS is synchronized within the integrated crime, violence and prevention security strategy, which is a national strategy and inclusive of the anti-gang strategy, drug master plan, rural safety strategy, and campus safety strategy. All operations of the department are now aligned with the 6 pillars, such as effective criminal justice system, early intervention to prevent crime and violence and promote safety, victim support, effective and integrated service delivery, safety through environmental design, and effective participation and community participation. With regards to Pillar 6 of our strategy, the active public and community participation, the following interventions have been realized, and through our partnerships, the Department of Social Development, about 14,496 people were reached through social crime prevention and awareness campaigns in all districts in the province. And we are pleased to announce that 16 community safety forums are functional in the province, and interventions were also made in high-profile cases where myself supported the example operations in Lusikisiki, Flagstaff, Willowvale, Alice, and further the departmental safety month was implemented in all districts. Through these interventions, the Nelson Mandela Metro Safety City concept document was approved, and subsequently an integrated action plan was developed. And therefore, strengthening of the criminal justice system, Honorable Chair, Deputy Chair of Chairs, a provisioning of oversight to SAPS. In the past 3 quarters of 2022-2023 financial year, the department conducted 60 unannounced visits at various police stations across the province, and 39 policing accountability engagement programs with communities took place. And the department also monitored 161 service delivery complaints, of which 98 were finalized and 63 are still in progress. And vigorous oversight to SAPS also include monitoring of IPID recommendations against the SAPs. A total of 95 recommendations were received from IPID, of which 31 were negative and 64 were positive recommendations. In terms of positive recommendations, this refers to SAPS members that did not contravene the criminal procedure work as they do their work. The conviction rate for femicide is sitting at 96%, and the intimate partner femicide is at 95%, and sexual offenses is at 83%. These cases are monitored and prioritized by chief prosecutors. As part of reducing the levels of fraud and corruption in the private and public sectors, 85% conviction rate was achieved for complex commercial crimes, and 2 government officials were convicted for serious corruption in the public sector, and 3 persons convicted for corruption in the private sector. Deputy Chair of Chairs, it is further significant to mention that our prisons are more than 300% full, with more than 52,000 incarcerations. Only the first 3 quarters of the previous financial year, these inmates have not just marched into the correctional facilities. However, this is a result of intensive detective work, prosecutions by NPA, and convictions by the judiciary, which has gone to this meticulous work of our criminal justice system. So, in the State of the Province address, the province has made a bold statement towards safer communities. Among the commitments made is to rid our communities of all forms of crimes and violence. We commend all stakeholders, including communities, for working together towards improving the conviction rate in the femicide cases, which now stands above 90%. These gains would not have been possible without the collaboration between government and civil society. Deputy Chair of Chairs, we are pleased to announce that the forensic laboratory based in Gqeberha is now operational, and this will improve our ability to resolve cases so that cases do not take long. It's a state-of-the-art a lab, that one, with the latest technology that is available there. With respect to this development, we commend the leadership demonstrated by the Honorable Premier and the responsiveness of our criminal justice system as seen in the heavy sentences meted out against GBVF perpetrators in the province. As we continue to challenge ourselves, working with communities and the SAPS to intensify our campaign against any form of crime, including murder and gender-based violence, our districts have been exploring the following interventions with specific bias to young people who are usually either victims of perpetrators, awareness campaigns on drugs, substance abuse, through educational campaigns, among others, like adopting sports against crime and school talks, debates on community safety and road safety, and the establishment of safety desks through Department of Education and municipalities, motivational talks on GBVF, road shows on safety and child protection awareness program, and police accountability engagement. At the center of this intervention is the need to develop and implement a provincial specific tool to pick up service delivery challenges that may harbor elements of criminality. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the following financial year, the department will conduct a provincial census in all 199 police stations across the province. This is to assess all police stations and to gather the overall performance of the province. And the department will also monitor and assess the implementation of recommendations of the previous financial year of the 6th administration. The department is committed to fight against crime and gender-based violence and femicide. We are playing a leading role towards the justice, crime prevention and security cluster. This is to ensure a collaborative effort in the fight against crime. Victim support, with regards to victim support, about 35,595 victims of crime and violence have access support services through the Tutuzela care centers and service centers. These service centers are inclusive of the trauma containment services, and from these services, 287 victims or survivors of gender-based violence and femicide were provided with sheltering services. Also, 234,610 persons were reached through GBVF prevention and awareness program. These integrated services from various departments, including Department of Community Safety, our Department, Social Development, and National Prosecuting Authority, plays a fundamental role in responding to and addressing the violence against women and children. With respect to school safety program, there are 47 schools with 94 safety patrollers and 2 data capturers benefiting from the Safety Patrollers Project funded through the Expanded Public Works Program. From the equitable share,
You are left with 5 minutes, Honorable MEC.
yeah, let me go to the important part. We have highlighted, honorable members will note, we'll continue with these important projects. But we have deliberately highlighted the change of the mandate of the department. That as it were now, we continue with an unfunded mandate because the department has not been funded adequately as a response to that change. And on research, we'll continue to conduct research for the better utilization of the resources and recommend on policing needs and priorities. We would like, for instance, Honorable Chair, for us to draw lessons from other provinces on the whole issue of funding, such as Gauteng province, which revamped the baseline of the Department of Community Safety budget from 700 million to 5 billion, solely from the equitable share, and buying 400 vehicles, drones, employing 600 patrollers, and installing CCTV and cameras, etc. And this is an area that we would want Honorable Mvoko and Honorable Premier to take note of, and the DG to take note of. This is how deliberate and intentional we should be about crime, considering the rampant mass killings in our province. It is evident that criminals want to take over this country, make a mockery of our democracy. If nothing gets done, we'll end up nothing, and history will judge us harshly. And out of this 115 million that we have as a budget, as a department, 85 million plus goes to COE, 26 million to goods and services. And for operations, we're left with something less than 2 million. This is a very, very serious matter because the department has been able to demonstrate our effectiveness over SAPS. When we strengthen oversight, we're likely to see SAPS performing more in quite a number of crime categories. And therefore, this is an area that we want the House to take note of. And Honorable Deputy Speaker, Deputy Chair of Chairs, as per the rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, on behalf of the Department of Community Safety, I table the 2023-2024 budget policy speech, revise a 5-year strategic plan, and the annual performance plan and the annual operational plan, and our service delivery improvement plan for vote 15. And thank you.
The policy speech and all the tabled document stand referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, Sub-Rule 2. Secretary, can you read, can you call upon the Speaker, sorry, of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature to present her 23 to 24 policy speech in terms of Rule 2023?
Tabling of budget vote number 2, Provincial Legislature.
Thank you, Deputy Chair of Chair. Let me first acknowledge the Deputy Speaker, the MECs that are present here, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, members of the Legislature, Secretary and the management of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, those HODs who are still with us, ladies and gentlemen, media and those joining us through the social media platforms. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, allow me to start this policy speech with a fitting tribute to our fallen member, Honorable Theo Kutsia, who passed on early January this year. May his soul rest in peace. We also honor the memory of the first Speaker to the Democratic National Assembly, Dr. Freni Noshir Ginwala, who also passed on in January. She played a critical role in the drafting of the South African Constitution and contributed significantly into the legislative sector, and her impact was felt at a global stage. Dr. Ginwala has left a reservoir of knowledge with a consummate body of work from which the entire legislative sector can always draw lessons to advance the mandate of the legislative arm of the state. We welcome and congratulate the appointment of Honorable Duba and Honorable Matkubela and wish them well in their new responsibilities as chairperson and deputy chairpersons of committees respectively. The legislature also welcomes, yes, we welcome our newly sworn-in members to the legislature, and we further congratulate all those honorable members who have now been assigned new areas of responsibilities as portfolio committee chairpersons and committee whips. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chair, the shortcomings in conducting effective oversight by the legislative arm of the state have come under severe scrutiny from various forums, including the courts and most recently the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. This report identifies weaknesses in the parliamentary oversight processes as one of those enabling factors in the state capture as investigated by the Commission. Some of the issues identified in the report require legislation to adequately address them. Some require strengthening of our rules. Others require the full scrutiny on the effectiveness of our model and approach, while there's also a need to explore adequate resourcing to ensure the strengthening of internal structures and support to its members. The issues raised by the Commission's report are an existential threat to the legislative arm of the state and to our democracy if not addressed timelessly. Honourable members, the legislative sector carries a momentous responsibility of upholding integrity, ethics and good governance that inspires trust and confidence of the people. This is well articulated by the late Dr. Ginwala when she said, and I quote, "All too often, integrity and accountability are confused. They are two sides of the same coin, but each one is distinct. Integrity denotes a set of personal values, beliefs and morals that permeates one's being. In an organization, we speak of an organizational or institutional culture. This constitutes a higher code of personal or inherent probity that goes beyond the legal prescripts. This is what we need to inculcate in the South African population through education, by example, and by leadership. The minimum expectation is that we will do so by exercising our duties responsibly, ethically, in good faith, and in the spirit of constitutional values of accountability, responsiveness, and openness. The year 2023 is the last full calendar year of the 6th legislature and preludes South Africa's historic milestone of marking 30 years since attaining political freedom and democracy. We therefore need to recommit ourselves to developing and deepening this democracy into a truly people-orientated, people-centered, participatory democracy, as these are the cardinal pillars of our Constitution. This would help us to realize the transformation and strengthening the efficacy of oversight to help build an ethical, capable, developmental, and a responsive state. Honourable Deputy Chair of Chairs, part of our commitment to strengthen oversight, the newly established Standing Committee on Budget and Money Bills is currently undergoing capacitation processes and is expected to draw on the expertise from various bodies to provide support in the execution of their duties. In addition, plans to provide the committee with the required technical support are underway, while a fully fledged support unit is being established. As a result of our rigorous oversight program by the Portfolio Committee on Education, we can see that the matric pass rate for 2022 reflects an increase of 4.2%. and that is the oversight that was done by the Portfolio Committee on Education. The oversight visits by the Portfolio Committee on Health at Livingston Hospital ensured that the radiation machine was in working order, as it has not been for a very, very long time. And at Dr. Malisa Mpeshla Hospital, the outcome of the Portfolio Committee visits was the purchase of a new generator, thus ending the cost of renting backup generator at an exorbitant amount. The consistent approach, yes, the consistent approach applied by committees and continuous follow-up on issues such as consequent management and implementation of audit improvement plans have seen a movement by 7 auditees and the state-owned enterprises to clean audit outcomes, and this also includes the Eastern Cape Legislature. The award we had received from provincial government is indeed an acknowledgement as the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature that we are on the right path. We have committed in this House last year that we would conduct focused intervention research studies, and we are proud to report that the Portfolio Committee on Finance conducted such study on how the province can generate additional revenue. This study resulted in the Department of Public Works establishing a property management program to improve the revenue base of the province and led to the eviction of illegal occupants in some properties. The Portfolio Committee on Dr. Da, working with the National Portfolio Committee on Agrarian Reform, successfully intervened on an impasse between the workers and the citrus farmers in the Sundays River Valley. Furthermore, the oversight visits by the Portfolio Committee at Fort Cox College resulted in fast-tracking the appointment of a long outstanding principal. The strengthening of oversight is crucial to improve the lives of the Eastern Cape community. The planning session of the chairpersons of committees held last week has identified key focus area per committee to properly direct and mainstream oversight to the most pertinent issues. For this, for the new financial year 23-24, portfolio committees will conduct joint oversight on transversal matters. A committee of the whole House will be established focusing on the state of public health provision in our province. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, the Public Participation, Petitions and Education Committee, together with the Standing Committee on the Women's Caucus, conducted joint public participation focus week by visiting various projects in all the districts. Meetings were held with leadership, different stakeholders, and visited relevant centers and homes of victims and survivors. We need to commend the Women's Caucus for being an active in educating and advocating for society to mobilize in the fight against gender-based violence and femicide. The PPP&E Standing Committee considered 47 petitions in Nelson Mandela Metro Municipality during its visit, and during the taking legislature to the people, we have received an additional 350 petitions through our petitions desk. The PPP&E has got their work cut out for them. We commend the PPP&E Standing Committee on resolving the issues raised by traditional leaders through petitions that threatened the successful sitting of the TLTTP to Joe Kabi. For a second year in a row, the PPP&E Committee conducted public education to communities on the significance of the State of the Province address. Various teams visited schools, taxi ranks and malls in Duchwa, Ellis, Fort Beaufort, Quinsa, Gompo and Duncan Village. And from this program, 16 citizens were elected to be guests of the Speaker at the SOPA as part of the opening access to the legislature to ordinary citizens of the province. Honourable members, in the 23 financial year, the legislature intends to deepen public participation by collaborating with district and local government sphere speakers to raise awareness and to ignite interest of our citizens to participate meaningfully in the lawmaking processes. The legislature also intends to heighten public education and voter education programs as a build-up to the 2024 national and provincial general elections. This, honourable members, is consistent with our priorities that we set out in the beginning of the 6th term. Honourable Deputy Chair of Chairs, for the year under review, we have hosted a hybrid children's parliament, which was preceded by public education workshops for the Children's Amendment Bill held in various municipalities. In addition, we also convened 2 themed conversations for accountability, the one being in Mthatha and the other one being in Kariga. The recommendations from both these conversations are being processed and prepared for tabling to the House as adoption of House resolutions, whereafter it will be referred to the relevant portfolio committees. During the 23-24 financial year, we intend to host the religious parliament that we had to postpone due to logistics, the men's parliament, workers, and the youth parliaments in terms of Rule 18.2. It's going to be a very, very busy year. The Commonwealth Women's Parliament successfully hosted a young men's dialogue, as well as the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association commemorated Africa Day, and the sub-branch also celebrated Arbor Month in September 2022, themed Forest Restoration, a Path to Recovery and Well-being, by planting 150 trees in 18 schools across 3 districts, Chris Hani, OR Tambo, and Alfred Nzo. In 2023-24 financial year, the CPA tree planting program will take place in Amatole, Joe Gabi, and Sarah Baartman districts, and the sub-branch will continue with the collaboration of the Department of Fishery, Forestry and Environment, Dr. Da, as well as Old Mutual. Honorable Deputy Chair of Chair, our TLTT program in Sterksprey, Joe Gabi this year was preceded by investigative pre-oversight visits and focused intervention study conducted by our own research unit of the legislature. We need to commend the district, local municipalities, and the district office for the Department of Education for their outstanding assistance during these days. We are proud to have handed over legacy projects in collaboration with the provincial executive across the Joe Gabi district on the last day of the program. For this, the new financial year, we will focusing our TLTTP in Sarah Baartman district. In 2022, we commemorated Nelson Mandela Day themed Greening Our Communities whilst alleviating poverty and food insecurity at Maplutini Village, Ward 16 in Port St. John's. This was the legislature's response and contribution to the plight suffered by the flood victims. We are indeed saddened that the area once again has experienced devastating losses with lives having been lost. This year, the Mandela Break program will be held in Nelson Mandela Metro, which is in line with our rotation policy. Honorable members, the Constitution enjoins the legislature to participate in the consideration of national and provincial bills. Accordingly, the legislature has conferred final mandates on 10 Section 76 legislations that have an impact on the people of the Eastern Cape. During the period under review, the Standing Committee on Law Review continued to engage departments with a view to fast-track the repeal of old order obsolete legislation. This resulted in 2 bills, the Environmental Management Bill and the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Bill being introduced in the legislature. For the 23-24 financial year, the committee will further process the repeal of the Agricultural Laws Bill, which will see 3 pieces of legislation ultimately repealed. The drafting of the Eastern Cape Draft Scrutiny of Subordinate Legislation Bill has been completed, and the bill will be referred to an ad hoc committee to process it further in terms of the standing rules of the legislature. This year, the legislature is expecting 5 provincial bills, with 4 of these bills having already been introduced to the legislature. Honourable members, with the work on the second phase of the naming of the legislature building and spaces legacy project in the form of a wall of remembrance in honor of the many departed former MPLs has steadily taken shape with the completion of the concept document for the project. We are currently working on the design for the project, which will be taken to consultation with relevant internal structures and be carried over into the new financial year. Under governance and administration, the process of leveraging on the use of ICT to enhance the work of the legislature ensued, with some modules of the enterprise resource planning system rolled out, such as the inventory and the asset management, and have now been actioned. That means we are currently utilizing it on the ERP system. We are now primed for the system to go fully live from the 1st of April 2023, and we want to commend NAHAU for giving their support to this very, very important project in the legislature. In pursuance of creating a paperless environment in the legislature, a substantial number of our staff have already been issued with mobile phones to close the gap in access to information, as they now will have access to all internal circulars through mobile phones. The legislature is in the process of appointing a chief information officer to improve its overall ICT governance. We are happy to announce that the revamped legislature website will be back online from the 1st of April and has been enhanced to enable the submission of e-petitions. In pursuit of improved governance, the Audit Committee has been filled with relevant skills and expertise required to oversight the legislature. And as part of strengthening our relations, we are reviewing our Memoranda of Understanding with Chapter 9 institutions, of note being the Office of the Public Protector, SALGA, as well as further engagements with especially the IEC is on the cards for this year. Honourable members, the budget outlook for the 23-24 financial year. We have been allocated a budget of 607.95 million. It's not yet Uhuru. We tabled this policy and budget vote within the context of the constrained fiscal environment and insufficient budget allocation to the legislature of 95 million shortfall for this financial year. We know this undesirable situation has persisted for the better part of the sixth term. The uninterrupted decline of the legislature budget remains a threat to the fulfillment of our constitutional mandate. In conclusion, honourable members, our focus and theme for this year is on promoting active citizenry and restoring dignity and pride of the citizens of the Eastern Cape. The work that we do this year must ensure that citizens in the province have tangible, positive experiences of freedom and democracy, that they have access to quality services, and that government programs tabled and adopted by this House must achieve the set objectives. The work that we have set out in the policy speech accentuates the value of establishing strategic relationships and partnerships to advance the mandate of the legislature. During the year, we will continue to consolidate our established partnerships to advance our mandate. Of significant importance is this year is a build-up towards the 30th anniversary of freedom and democracy, as well as the elections for provincial legislatures and the National Assembly. The period is always characterized by heightened expectations on accelerated delivery of services and visibility of representatives, public representatives. We must heed the advice from socialist German revolutionary Rosa Luxemburg when she said, and I quote, "What we need is not rejoicing over the accomplishments, not the celebrations of victory over the prostrate foe, but rigorous self-criticism and self-marshalling of our strength so the work now begun can go forward," close quote. Honourable Deputy Chair of Chairs, we express our gratitude to the presiding officers, the Legislature Oversight Committee and all portfolio committees who have exercised their oversight responsibilities and delivered the mandate on institutionalized programs against the financial constraints. Allow me to thank the Secretary to the Legislature, our management team, the staff for their outstanding dedication. Let me extend words of gratitude to Nahau for their commitment in helping the legislature fulfill its purpose, and all the members of this august House across party lines and as led by the Honourable Chief Whip for your continued support. Honourable Deputy Chair of Chairs, I hereby table the policy budget vote, annual performance plan, operational plan in Nkosi Sikelel, Africa. Thank you.
The policy speech and all the tabled documents stands referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161.2. That concludes the tabling on this matter and the business for the day. The House will adjourn until tomorrow, the 29th of March 2023 at 14:15, that is 2:15, for questions for oral reply and the consideration of committee reports. The House is adjourned. Oh, okay.